Joe, please come to the principal's office. Janet, please come to the principal's office. Have you ever felt like that during a meeting? To be honest, I don't recall being called to the principal's office as a kid. However, in my work life, I did experience that more than once. And, most of the time it was for clearly good reason. Early in my career, I did not handle my emotions well. I did not, I had a lot of things that I just didn't always handle very well. And a couple of weeks ago, I was on literally 3 calls in one day, twice with the same person where I left that meeting feeling like I had been called to the principal's office. I felt horrible. One of the phrases that I do recall being used was, I never want to get another call or email like that ever again. And if I do, you will all hear about it. And I knew exactly what situation the person was referring to. And it was this manager calling out the entire team for something that I did that needed to, very well may have needed to be addressed, and probably would have been better addressed one-on-one, where I could have explained to her, because I knew exactly who she got the call from and what they were complaining about. And if she'd have sat down with me or asked me one-on-one, hey, I got this feedback, let me know, can I understand, I'd like to understand your, what happened. And if I could have explained to her, I think she would have understood. And yes, there could have been some things that were changed, but the reason the meeting was held and the reason the person got angry initially, by the end of the meeting, was completely resolved. However, they still made it into a huge deal. Now, what I want to focus in on here is that the language this person used was so shaming. There were things that were said like, I don't know what you people were thinking, or I don't know how many times I have to tell you these things. And so I haven't gotten the opportunity to follow up with this person because shortly after they were out for an extended period of time. But what I hear from other friends and their work situations is this is not a unique situation. Too many managers get furious before they get curious, or they choose shaming over one-on-one courageous conversations. I heard on a call this last weekend that adults are essentially tall children. And that doesn't mean that we all behave like children and we're always misbehaving and whatever. What it means is that we have the same emotional needs. We have the same vulnerabilities. We have the same need for tenderness as children do. And so, even though often we'll stuff that down, we will ignore our emotional needs. We will try to cover up our vulnerabilities in favor of, because we think it'll make us look weak. If we try to show any sort of need for tenderness, I think people feel that they'll look weak, and especially a manager. A lot of managers feel that way. But think of how a child feels when they're shamed for something that they did. What it does is it tamps down who they really are. It tamps down their creativity. It tamps down their spirit. It tamps down their livelihood. It tamps down the authenticity, the pureness of who that child is. And it's the same thing with adults. I know it takes all of the courage we have for some of us. It takes all of our courage to have that conversation, that one-on-one conversation where we have to sit someone down and say, look, this is what happened in the meeting, and this is what it looked like the effect was on the team. This is the feedback that I got. This is how it made me feel in the meeting. And let's figure out, help me understand what happened. Help me understand what was going on during that meeting. And, these are ways to start the conversation. Get curious before you get furious. Seek to understand, and then figure out how to move forward. And sometimes these are things that are, vulnerabilities, fears, things that are inside of us that will come up again and again. You can't tell someone something once and have it go away or have it change. People have habits, people have patterns, people have subconscious patterns that will rear their heads when they are faced with accusations, with fear, with uncertainty. And so we need to continue to have those courageous conversations. So please, let's let go of shaming and ridicule and disregarding people in favor of looking at adults as tall children who have emotional needs, who have the need to help their vulnerabilities be shown and be attended to, and who need tenderness. I'd love to hear in the comments below or direct message me of how you have handled, misbehaving situations, how you've turned them around. Thanks for listening.